Hello and welcome to another episode of Castle Farms Homestead. This episode is covering two tasks that took a long time when setting up the cottage, getting it ready to live in. The first one being caulking all of the corners with the walls that, folded out and up and everything. There were a lot of seams. And so, despite weather stripping being in the scenes and everything, we wanted to make sure that wind and water were not going to be getting in. Just trying to get that good, tight seal so that we can better control the temperature within the cottage. Having hot winds blow in or cold winds blow in would just make living in there uncomfortable, and we want this to be better than living in the trailer, which, I mean, it will be. It'll be a very quick and easy step up, even if it was a little drafty. Now, this gap here ran the whole length of the floor, corner to corner, from master bedroom, guest room, my room, and was one the hardest to fill. It was large, and with it being cold out, we were running the propane heater inside the cottage, and that led to condensation inside, especially at night, and it would run down the walls and soak the still drying caulk and cause that to melt through the crack a little bit and just not properly form. So had to hit this crack multiple times. And if you look behind me here, you'll see some orange running along the floor. That was another big crack that we had. Probably the widest one, but it didn't lead directly outside. But still, we filled it with some weather stripping and then some packing foam that came with the house, and then hit that all with some of the spray insulation, and then still covered it with more caulk just to get that good tight seal and make sure that we didn't have wind blowing in from anywhere. And Clint, of course, worked on this as well in different rooms and whatnot. But something that had the majority of his attention while I was doing this was the plumbing, because we were still having trouble with that leak.
So it has been a couple of days of caulking like crazy. And we pretty much all got it done. And in fact, today is a very windy day. It's blowing 25 to 30 miles per hour outside, and we can hear the wind. And I know there's some places that wind's blowing in through, but it's pretty much only at the doorways, like the sliding glass door here and the front door over there. And so there's some things that I see that we can do to help with that as well. But I'm liking this. I think it's going to be pretty good. The thing that I'm not liking, however, is that we have started installing the cabinets. And in order to do that, I've got to get the plumbing set up for this kitchen sink. Let me show you what's going on there, because this is very frustrating. This is where the water's coming in to the kitchen area. And we've got to run pipe from that over here underneath the window where the sink is going to be. And my problem is that these are, I guess, just a different type of thread and all, because they're Chinese fittings. But this is the braided water supply hose that goes up to the sink that they gave us. And of course, that fitting fits on there, and it screws on just fine, no problem. But I've got to run the line all the way over, And so I've been putting together PVC pieces and whatnot in order to connect to this. My frustration is that all the pieces I've got fit to each other, including this and everywhere else, and this fits to that, and yet the PVC piece that is threaded to hook onto here will not thread onto there. It goes crooked. It just will not do it. I have tried many, many times and even forcing it, and it still will not work. So I'm very frustrated. I decided that I would go ahead and just cut this out and put in new pieces here, new connections, so that it'll just all be mine from there out. But the issue is these are fused connections right here, and I don't have much space to work in, of course, but fused connections to there. So I start cutting that out. I don't know that we can get that put back together. My other option is to just go ahead and purchase braided supply line like this one and run it all the way over, which is what I kind of was thinking of doing in the first place, but the PVC and all was going to be a lot cheaper, so that's what I had decided to do. I'm heading back into town today and probably going to buy some more braided lines. I wish I could take that connection with me to Home Depot, and then I could check all the connections and I could figure it out. But I obviously can't do that. So I do have the female end that's given us, but so I'm going to go buy some braided lines, I guess, and try that, and hopefully that'll work. It'll be a lot more expensive, but if it gets done, that's all I care about at this point. We've got to get this done soon. So wish me luck. So everything looked really great with our connections there. Got all set up. Our friend Lance came over, hooked up the PEX pipe, ran it over to a gauge, a pressure gauge, and we filled that to test the pressure to make sure it's maintained. It didn't. So again, bummer. But we went ahead and got some, we repressurized it, got some soapy water, sprayed it around on the joints, and we found out that this first joint that I did was leaking. And I'm wondering if it wasn't because that first one I did, I took it off to check the threads and all, and then put it back on, and maybe that is the reason it wasn't working. So I'm gonna take that off, redo another one, and the second one seemed to hold just fine. So hopefully if we redo this one, it'll work and we'll be good to go. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay, I'm ready to take another shot at this. Talking to our friend Lance, he suggested we try something different this time. We are going to try this epoxy putty, Propoxy 20, and it gets hard quickly in 20 minutes and says it's steel reinforced. Steel hard repairs in 20 minutes. So he's suggesting we try this, and so we're going to give this a try. I think though, to do that, I am going to cut this back again a little bit further down here so that I can get around the side of it, because I have to really be able to just push it in there and really make it, fill every gap in there on the back side. With that little tiny gap there, I can't do that very well. So I'm going to cut this back, take out the foam in the middle, and then I can at least get back there with a stick and be able to mash the stuff down in there. You take this stuff out and you squish it together, and then it'll start hardening. So it'll be more like a putty than an actual epoxy ooze. So we'll give this a try.
do wish that this foam in the middle was not just kind of a basic styrofoam. It'd be much better if they used polyiso paneling in between these. Get a much better R factor.
This right here is what a portion of the epoxy looks like. It has this black outer portion and then the gray inner portion. And you just remove the plastic wrap from around it, mix this two stuff together, just squish it all together so that it starts activating, and then wrap it around whatever you're trying to seal.
Well, I shoved it in there the best I could, crammed it down there, trying to fill every possible gap, and then we got my finger wet and kind of smoothed it around on it to get right up to the edge of that PVC. Now we just have to wait and see, I guess. 20 minutes is all it takes. Well, it could be a little bit longer because it's cold in here, but this is better work. Otherwise, I don't have any hair that I can pull out, so.
Go for the beard.
Pull my beard. All right, wish us luck.